All of you, hello. I am so excited for this call today. I am just so thrilled. I bet all of you guys are too. I am Jayna Taylor, and I am just really excited to hear from Dr. Clint. We're going to be talking tonight about understanding pulse reading. So as we are all still coming in, I'd like you guys to put in the chat, where are you calling from? Oh my gosh, Rajani, you are calling from India. What time of the night is it over there?
Morning.
Morning. What time is it over there?
5:30 morning.
Oh my gosh, that is so great. Thank you so much for joining us this early in the morning. So awesome. So great. Well, let's see. We have Cincinnati. We have Brenda from Seattle, and I have a hard time with the chat. So you guys jump in. Portland, Michigan, New York, cold New York, Andrea. It is cold and up in New York. So good. We've got South Carolina and the Bahamas. We've got Dallas, Texas, Ohio. The thing is this group is global. It's so exciting to see all of you from all over the world. This is an amazing science, and I'm so excited to have you guys hear from Dr. Clint. Before we hear from Dr. Clint, I just wanted to ask, what if something in this call really sparks something in your heart that helps you see something that could really change your life forever? I know that it really has me. This really has changed my life, and I'm so grateful to be able to share this with you. I don't think that it's an accident that you're here. I think that is a purpose. You guys have been drawn to this call for a reason, and I'm so glad you're here. So there are a couple of people that I want to introduce that have helped this come to light. I'd like Carol. Carol, thank you so much. Can you say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Central Texas, where we don't have any ice, we don't have any snow, we don't have any power outages to speak of, and we don't have any water shortages today. So good day in Texas.
Yay. We're so glad you went through that. I mean, you're through that, not that you went through it, but you're through that. But Carol's going to be helping me tonight. And also Esther. Esther, will you unmute yourself?
I'm unmuted. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Esther's going to be helping me with the chat, and so glad that these are my two women that I really lean on quite a bit. I so appreciate them. Kitty Pope, can you unmute yourself?
Hi there.
Hi, Kitty. How are you?
Good.
So
How
glad.
are you?
Kitty has been such an instrument in being able to spread the word of getting this out. So Kitty, thank you so much. Do you have anything you'd like to share?
No, I'm just going to tell everybody that they're in for a real treat.
Thank you, Kitty.
And to get the book, go ahead and get the book on Kindle and start reading it. It's great.
The book that Kitty is talking about is this book right here. It's the book that Dr. Clint has written. It's called An Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, a Western Skeptic, an Eastern Master, and Life's Greatest Secrets. This is one of the reasons that my life has changed. This is an amazing book. As you can see, all of my tabs and markers, I use it quite a bit. Catherine, are you on the call tonight, Catherine?
I'm here. I'm just voice tonight, but I'm here. I'm with you. I love you, and I'm with you.
Catherine has also been so instrumental in all of this. We're so appreciative of all of her efforts and all of the things that she's done behind the scenes. So appreciate you, Catherine.
I'm so grateful for all of you, and so grateful for the ancient secrets, to Dr. Naram and to Dr. Clint and to all the doctors, the Vaidyas, and all of the wonderful people who've been sharing their experiences with us. This has absolutely revolutionized my life, and I'm so grateful in every way, and really looking forward to learning everything tonight too. More. So excited.
Thank you, Catherine. I also want to know if Susie's on the call. Susie, are you on the call? Susie may not be on the call. She may be traveling tonight. And And Colleen, are you on the call by chance? She may not be on the call as well. Anyway, Susie has been helping behind the scenes as well. And Colleen has been a sponsor. She has a beautiful facility called Seldom Seen Serenity. She helps people who are caretakers. She helps them de-stress. So they come to her facility. It's a beautiful piece of property. And she has been our sponsor for this clinic, or this call. I'm so grateful. We're so glad that you're here. Esther, would you like to do the honors of being able to introduce our wonderful guest?
I thought Kitty was doing that.
Kitty was going to, but if you wouldn't mind, that would be so awesome.
Well, I would be happy to do that. It's been my pleasure to know Clint for the last year. And just for a little background for those that you don't know who Clint is, Dr. Clint G Rogers was a university researcher, and he had no time for alternative medicine until he started reading about this ancient secrets when modern medicine failed to treat his father, who was ill at the time. And he was searching for solutions. And through that, he met Dr. Pankaj Naram and traveled to India. And through the mystical mysteries that life has, Clint became Dr. Naram's he became his right-hand person. He traveled with him for 10 years, documenting the stories of miracles that were taking place through Dr. Naram's healing methods. He brought his father to India, who had great success, and he was convinced and converted and has become a master in his own right. And so he has a wonderful TEDx talk. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely listen to that. And I'm probably not doing justice to all of Dr. Clint's talents and extraordinary past, but I'll let him fill you in more personally. So with my pleasure, I introduce Dr. Clint G Rogers.
Yay!
Thank you so much. You know, as each person's coming up on the screen, Jayna and Carol and Esther and Kitty, and we heard Catherine's beautiful voice, and thinking about Colleen, who's hosting this event. And then as I'm just looking at, and Kitty Pope, and I'm just looking at each of your faces, I was just scrolling through and just looking at each of your faces, and I was just thinking about what a unique gathering, what a powerful gathering. I just felt like, honestly, right before this call, I don't know why, but I started to get a little nervous. I started to get a little nervous for some reason. I couldn't quite identify it. And then I thought, okay, what was the essence of this call? What is the purpose of this call? And I realized Jayna created it out of love. You know, she was hosting with Kitty the clinic in Atlanta, Georgia, the Pulse consultations in Atlanta, Georgia. And she was just asking a lot of people to telling them about it. And they would have this question: what is pulse healing? You know, why would I need that thing? And so she said, why don't we have a call that introduces people to this concept? And whenever anyone has a challenge about what is this thing, I totally can relate to it. You know, the book that they held up at the beginning, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, the subtitle is A Western Skeptic, an Eastern Master and Life's Greatest Secrets. And I was so much a skeptic, and I'm just very happy if you bring your skeptic, you know, because it's through that you can find out what is true. You know, I'm looking, and there's a lot of people on this call right now who are part of a 100-day training course, and we're already on week 10, and they've gone into a lot of detail in some of the basic foundational principles of this ancient science, through which things that look like miracles happen. I saw in the chat, I was reading where everyone's from. I just love it. People from, we got Cornelia from the Bahamas. We got people from UK. I'm not the only Dr. Clint on this call. We got Dr. Clinton Jones from Los Angeles, which is so fun. I don't know, Clinton Jones, if you can just unmute yourself. How did you hear about this call and what brought you here? I don't know if you can unmute yourself, Dr. Clinton Jones. Let's see if I just clicked. Oh, there we go.
Okay, I heard about it through Solomon and Gloria Herbert. They emailed me the link yesterday. I walked the email and I got it today, and I'm so happy to be aboard.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a chiropractor, been in practice for 41 years.
Wow.
Okay. Dr. Solomon and Gloria are friends of mine. They're in the travel industry with me. So I invited them and they were excited about getting the call. So evidently they told somebody else. Great. That's good.
Yes.
Well, it's an honor to share the name with such a, I just saw your image and I just felt a lot of joy, Dr. Clinton. So I'm glad that you're here, you know, with Dr. Naram, this master healer that I traveled with for over 10 years. We actually taught a course at Berlin University, a 2-year certification course. And we had brilliant doctors and chiropractors and nurses flying from all over the world to learn what are these ancient secrets and how come they work so powerfully. And obviously as a chiropractor, you have a lot of skills and a lot of insights. And I'm really honored. I feel really honored to be in your presence, everyone on this call, and have a moment for us just to join together. You know, the opening quote in the book, I just think is so pertinent to today's call. It says, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. And so as we're just here together in this space of love, I'm really excited to see what love teaches each of us. Because I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm not here to prove anything. I have nothing to prove and I have no one to impress. All I have is I have certain experiences that have changed my life and changed the lives of those that I love so much. And I felt this passion about more people need to know this exists. You know, people may not choose this, but at least they should know it's a choice. Me 10 years ago would have never chosen this. You know, I had no concept in my mind this existed. And when I heard about it, it sounded ridiculous, you know? And so the fact that I'm on this end of it, sharing from this side right now is a powerful thing. So I'm just here to celebrate with you, answer any questions I can, and just allow everyone to know it's not only a choice, not only a credible choice, but a very, very powerful choice. So actually, Dr. Clinton Jones, before I go back to Jayna, I just want to know, what was it inspired you to be on this call? What would be something you'd love to gain as a result of being on this call?
Well, this energy and therapy is really after my own heart. I'm kind of familiar. I've had an experience over 40 years ago with pulse healing when my sister-in-law was going in for surgery with for a complete hysterectomy. And for weeks I told her, don't do it. They're doing the wrong thing. They don't know what they're doing. She went to the surgery. She's getting ready to go on the table. And my voice was in her head. And she jumped off and said, no. She came and I took her to a Vietnamese Buddhist doctor who was trained in Western medicine, but was a traditional acupuncturist. He did pulse therapy on her, examined her tongue and eyes. She never had a problem. She did a little surgery in the office, never had to have the hysterectomy. That was in 1978, maybe 77. So but I've been into Eastern medicine and healing all my career.
Oh, that's so powerful. What a powerful case to leave. First of all, you're on the operating table and she's about to have a hysterectomy, lose some of the critical, you know, organs. And then to have that inspiration and that impression and to have your voice in her head. And so she got off of the surgery table and made another choice. That says
the doctor was very disappointed and angry, but she was happy. We're all happy.
Wow. Wow. It's so fun to be with you, Dr. Clinton. I don't know why, but having you on this call is such a, I don't know. I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
Yeah, in all the ways in your life you've shown up. And for everyone who's here on this call, Thank you. Thank you for investing this time. What if, like Jayna says, as a result of this call, what if you learn something that not only changes your life, but maybe the life of someone you love? You know, right off the bat, because I shared that quote about love, I just want you in the chat, you know, just to put, I want you to think about the name of someone that you love. Someone that you love, and I just want you to put their name in the chat. I just want that energy to be on this call right now. So, and maybe as people are putting in the chat, a couple people can share. Cornelia, what I just call on you first of all. Who's someone that you love? Who, I know you're typing in the chat, but
Who do I love? Of course, my children, big time, and my grandchildren. They are definitely the closest to me.
yeah, so beautiful. So you love your children and your grandchildren, so close to you. Yeah. And then am I like at least third on the list?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. I mean, definitely. I mean, you changed my life in so many ways.
I'm not fishing for compliments.
No,
I
I
love
know
you.
that, but you should know that you're definitely very high on my list, as is the whole 100-day secret kind of community that has really become part of my life. And so therefore that it has expanded. But right now, when you just ask me who is definitely my family is very high on my list.
Yeah, definitely, I feel that. And I want to say Cornelia's birthday was just this last week. And for those who aren't in the 100-day course, you didn't hear me announce this, but 5 years ago, I met Cornelia actually at Jack Canfield's home. Jack Canfield wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Actually, was at the hotel on the way to his home that I first met her, but he wrote a Chicken Soup for the Soul, which is sold. And so he's written books that have sold more than 500 million copies, like a lot. And so Cornelia, in her own right, is a published author and wrote an amazing book. Cornelia, can you share the name of that book?
Revolutionize Your Health: How to Take Back Your Body's Power to Heal.
Yeah, revolutionize your health. How to take back your body's power to heal. It's just awesome. And so her life brought her to the point that she's an expert in this and wrote that book. And then I don't know why, but I just connected with her and I just told her, you know, I'm in the process of writing this book called Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer about me as a skeptic, you know, and then I was not expecting it all. You know, you meet people and you never know how life goes. And so Cornelia, what was it what inspired you to connect with me and offer to help proofread the book?
My profession before I went into health and healing is actually a translator and proofreader. And so I have a degree in that. And when you were talking about that book, I mean, my background also is health and healing and really coming back to your own body's power to heal. And when you were talking at Jack Canfield's house about the book, I knew that this was something very special that you were going to share with the world. And I don't know, I had never offered anything like that, my service like for free, and just say, but something compelled me to say, when the book is ready, I would like to proofread it, because in a sense, I wanted to, it sounds weird, but I wanted to be part of that. I knew there was something much bigger. I couldn't see it at that point, but what it exactly would be, but I felt something. And that's why I said it. And even later on, I kind of couldn't even kind of fathom why I did it, but it was just so, it just came out of me. And I now know, of course, why I had to say that, because that way I actually stayed in contact with you and could feel even your development writing the book and how everything kind of developed over the 3 years you were writing and changing, and the different versions of the book, and how it all came to be probably the most powerful book I ever read and worked with, simply for the impact it has every single time I'm reading it. And right now, if you allow me to share that, I'm just reading the German or was just reading the German version of the book as proofreading it. And every time there is so much coming out of the book, and every time it's a different level of healing happening in me. And I have spoken to so many people that have the similar experience reading the book. And I don't know, when you talked about it, I somehow knew it was something really, really powerful that you were creating at that moment.
Oh, it's so cool. You know, Cornelia saw before, she saw me five years ago, you know,
Yeah.
like that was, I don't know. I heard this author from the Middle East say that if any author is working on a book, it's usually because something's unresolved in themselves. And the process of writing the book helps them to resolve that thing, you know? And it's almost like this book, I know it says I'm the author, but it wrote me as well. It transformed me in so many ways. And one of the most humbling things was before the book was published, before hundreds of people from all over the world were working to translate it into 30 languages, before it was even in this format it is in, Cornelia, what her words are now are so impactful that she saw, wow, this is going to be something and I want to be a part of it. You know, and the most exciting news about this last week is for the first time I'm holding the book in other languages. So I have it here in Portuguese, I have it in Italian. Cornelia is just finishing up the last stages of German. We just had a call on Monday with the translators in the final stages of Farsi, of Spanish, of French, of Russian, of Romanian, and it's completed in Arabic. And it's like all these languages, it's hard for me to comprehend because there's no way that 10 years ago as a skeptic, or it was a little bit longer than that now, 11, 12 years ago as a skeptic, that I would ever guess that I was going to be a part of something that was going to make such an impact in the planet. And I just wanted to be a part of it. And I still feel like I'm a small part of it. And all who have joined the course, all 255 people from 36 countries or something like that, all the people who have played the miracle experiment game, just applying 3 principles in the book and seen the miracles happen in life, all the translators, we're talking about how the book moved through them. And I'm talking about all kinds of cool mystical miracles of love happening that are based on when you follow these principles. It's an ancient science that things happen in your life. Now, I'm just looking at this call and the people on this call, and I'm just so moved. I see people who have come to the Pulse Clinic. So there's lots of different secrets in the book, and only one of them is about pulse healing. Even if you never come for pulse healing appointment, you just apply the principles and your life changes. But since we're here on this call to talk about pulse healing, and I know lots of people have questions about it, I want to go to Jayna, and it'd be kind of like an interview. Jayna, you can ask me any questions. This is like a ask anything session where Jayna or anyone else, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat about what is pulse healing, why is it so powerful, and what are the results that can come from it?
Well, I know that there are some people on this call that would like a brief introduction about how you got into this. They may not have seen the TED Talk. So if we could do just a quick, brief introduction as to why you wrote the book and what is this book? Tell us about that.
Oh, great. And right before I do that, I want to acknowledge also Dr. Stephen, who's on the call.
Don't worry about it. Hey, I'm here with my friends in Watertown, New York tonight. We're just spending some time and sharing some love.
Awesome. So glad you're here.
Yeah, Dr. Stephen was also a student of this master healer, Dr. actually longer than I was. He's my senior in this way. And it was so funny. I don't know if you're in a place you can share, Stephen, about that first time you met Dr. Ram.
So I had a woman come into my office. First, I have to do this for you, Clint. Let's see if I can do this here. Hank, come here. Hank, come here. Say hi to Clint. Oh, see, he came to the talk. He came to the talk.
Hey, buddy.
So this woman came into my office. She saw that I had Ayurvedic herbs, and she said, "Oh my God, my boyfriend brings around this famous doctor, Pankaj Naram." And I'm like, don't know who he is, but I could tell just by the way she spoke, I gotta go see this guy. He was giving a talk in New Paltz, and I went to see him talk. And after his talk, I said, this guy is either a charlatan or the real deal. There's nothing in between. It was so amazing what he said. And then I met all the people around him, the different medical doctors, the different people. And the next day he was giving a pulse clinic. So I'm like, I'm going to go get my pulse taken. So I grabbed a friend, went to get our pulse taken. He took my pulse and he said, you should work for me. And I said, oh, I'd love to work for you. And he didn't know I was a chiropractor. He didn't know I was already interested and took courses in Ayurveda. And I said, oh, I'd love to work for you. And he points to the desk and goes, that's your desk. So I walked over and I started. Like he knew that from my pulse.
So we should have a warning. There should be a warning. If you come for a pulse consultation, you may end the day by working in the clinic with me, with Dr. Stephen. I want to say that it's like such a great honor to have Dr. Stephen, who has such a profound depth of experience with so many different modalities. And he saw something in this pulse healing that not only intrigued him, but he saw the power of it. You know, modern Western medical devices, they can measure a slice in time for one specific type of instrumentation. The pulse is so subtle and can measure things that Western medicine hasn't yet been able to develop instrumentation for, and yet doesn't even yet have concepts for.
When I teach pulse, that don't go look for the pulse. You have the greatest instrument right here. You just need to be clear. And then you can feel any, but it also might take 10 years.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge right before I go into Jayna, your great question. There's some people on this call I just met this last weekend at a pulse consultation tour when I was in Joshua Tree, California. I muted myself that time. I see Linda and Miles there. I know I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but if you can just unmute yourself. They came for the pulse consultations in LA and in Redondo Beach. And there's something about in those meetings where by taking the pulse, you can see so much of someone's, not just the physical health, but physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And I think that's why the book starts with, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. I think it's impossible to see someone so clearly and not love them. You know, it's so Linda and Miles are great examples. And I don't know, Linda and Miles, if you can share your experience and also some of the things, some of the results that have come. Linda, I know for you in particular, but.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. Miles, you want to share your experience at the Pulse clinic, what your experience was like there?
Let me see. Goodness, what did I say exactly?
Your experience. What did you get out of it?
Oh, well, right away, I had told Dr. Clint exactly, all this stuff that I did want, among which being wanting to publish a book, which has already been written, and I've been having difficulty in.
Hey, Miles, it's just a little hard to hear you. I wonder if there's the mic we can speak to.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
Oh,
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So I was one of the things that I had wanted, I suppose, was to publish a book that I had written. I had everything else under control. I even had it consulted by a professional editor. But the means by which to get it out there was the only thing that was too difficult to attain. And, I had, at the end of the whole experience, Dr. Clint said that he would support me in this journey. And I had participated in a Facebook Live video along with my mother here. And he mentioned that rather than saying, I'm working on getting a book published, he said, I have a book coming out.
That put a lot of pressure on him.
But it also made me feel very good and a tremendous amount of confidence as well.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of times people come for pulse consultations for some physical health thing, Yeah. And we can talk so much about those cases for diabetes or high blood pressure or arthritis. ADD, ADHD, sometimes losing hair. Sometimes people want to have a child. They haven't been able to have a child. I mean, there's so many cases. There's a woman that was also at that same clinic. She brought her mother to Sacramento Clinic just 2 weeks earlier, had only 33% kidney functioning. And her mother, either you go for dialysis or you go for kidney transplant at that point, but what do? You know, and she came to the clinic and shared the great news. Actually, I'll just share the picture of this family. Her mom's not in this picture, but this is the family, Arshia. She said the great news that she couldn't believe it. They just got the report back and her mom's kidney had increased by 11%. So before it was 33%, now is 44% functioning kidney. So of the function of her kidney, it increased by 30% capacity, 33% capacity in. So pulse healing is very powerful, but it's not just on a physical level, because our blocks aren't just physical. It can be mental, emotional, spiritual. And what I love about Miles, I consider Miles a genius. Actually, I consider him a genius, and the genius is coming out. And sometimes there's just a little block. And to remove that block is sometimes even Dr. Ram, he says the power, the quality of our life depends on the quality of our questions. Sometimes even the languaging we're using can create dis-ease and illness. You know, what we say about ourselves and the way we language certain things. And the whole ancient science is so powerful, it addresses a lot of these things. Now, also Linda, man, she had such a great experience. I took her pulse, but even before I took her pulse, before I even saw her, she was applying the principles in the book. She's part of the 100-day course. She was about two weeks in to following certain diet principles about knowing which foods to eat, what foods not to eat. And Linda, share your before, what the pain was like and after.
Oh my gosh. I was like an 80-year-old lady getting up from sitting, no matter how short or long I sat. And of course, the longer I sat, the harder it was to get up. And I was bent over, standing up. I waddled when I walked, and I had to use furniture. I mean, it was really, really terrible.
All kinds of aches and pains and such.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, he witnessed it. He hated seeing me that way.
Yeah.
Because I was very vital, not too,
In fact, one of the sayings, I used to say this around here, you're better off being a soul in a jar, so you may as well, we'll have you there, but you won't have to endure all this pain and infirmity.
So it's a joke, soul in a jar. That's what I need to be. But at any rate, after just a few days, I mean, the first day.
I like you, Miles.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clint.
So the first day of eating mung bean, all my cravings have went away. I'm like a cookie monster, and chocolate chip cookies with peanut butter in between.
Yes.
And at the first day, I no longer had that craving, and I was shocked. I'm like, wow, I don't usually lose my craving for that kind of stuff. And then the next couple of days, I was just losing weight. And when I saw Dr. Clint, I had lost 10 pounds, and I just lost 2 more pounds. And yes, it is awesome. It is awesome.
Very.
And I have superficial. I can get up fast and go to the door or whatever, and I have no pain.
He's like 20 years younger. It's amazing.
I don't lose my balance. I don't have to walk slowly to get anywhere. I can just get up and go, which is amazing. And the deep pain is about 60% gone, which means the original years old pain is still there, but it's going away. So that alone makes me want to stay on mung beans.
Yes.
So cool. These masters, Dr. Naram had a master. So here's Dr. Naram. He had a master who lived to be 125.
Yes.
Here he is. His name is Baba Ramdas. I don't know if you can see that. And then he had a master who lived to be 145, had a master. The original master was Jivaka, who was the physician for Buddha. And these masters had certain secrets about what do you eat? What were they eating to live so long? And what were they not eating? And what are we eating that they were not eating? And what are we not eating that they were eating? I don't know, that's a little confusing, but main point is they had secrets. And those secrets were preserved for thousands of years. Linda is applying them. And as a result, in only 2 weeks, has something like 60% less pain, way more mobility. Before she'd try and lose weight and always would get stuck at 5 pounds, and then it would go back up. when she broke through to 7 pounds, so excited. By the time she met me was 10 pounds and now 12 pounds. It's just like, what is possible with things so simple and so practical when you just know what those secrets are? So Linda, Miles, I love you. I'm so much with you, and I'm excited for your upcoming book. I want everyone here to get Miles's book, the upcoming book. Do you already have a title for it, Miles?
Yes, it's the working title is "Why Am I Forever Unloved?"
Why am I forever unloved?
And it's fiction, so you won't get anything helpful from it other than just a compelling story, what I hope to be a compelling story, I suppose.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can promise everyone who gets that book, you'll get a lot of value from it. You'll see inside the mind of a genius how he structures story and
Yes.
how he creates the dynamic in dialogue. And I'm excited personally to read it. So
Okay.
Miles also, speaking about books, before he came for the post consultation, he read the entire book in 2 days.
Yes, I did.
And when you're hearing Cornelia speak, Miles, about when she saw the book 5 years ago before it was, and thinking about your experience reading it, what would you share about your experience with reading it?
Well, I had when Mother had said that she wanted me to come and see you. I saw her reading the book about, I don't know, 6 months before she had booked the appointment, and I thought, I might as well read it just to see what you and Dr. Naram and all these secrets and such were all about. And at the time, I was sort of skeptical about the whole thing. Wasn't really too high on it myself. But I still decided just to see what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, so I read it in 2 days. I read for about I read 1 hour, had a break, read for another hour, had a break, and read for another hour and had a break, and had read 120 pages one day, so I was halfway through it. And then the next day I did the same thing, and it basically finished the whole thing. And just the basic foundation of how to how do I put this? Basically, how to order yourself, not only your diet and such, but also the way you should treat people and all that. Not only was it seemed very revelatory to me, but also we seem to be incorporating it ourselves even before I had read the book, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. And I just felt very enlightened when I did read it.
One thing, can I share one thing, Miles, that he said as we were doing the Facebook Live together? He just says, he's talked about Dr. Naram and what a gift that we had this man, this healer on the planet.
Yes.
And actually this whole lineage preserved these secrets for these thousands of years so we can benefit now.
Mm.
And it's evidence-based. It's based on real experience.
Yes.
It's not just believing something that's not true or applicable or relatable, but something you can have a personal experience of. And so Linda and Miles are just great examples of, even just in the first stages of it. I mean, I can't honestly say that everyone can expect your cravings are going to go away on day one, because that is, I'm just saying thank you that happened. I also see for Esther Francis, she also said in the chat that she had no cravings starting on day one. Some people take 7 days. For my little brother, John, it took 10 days, but it's powerful. Now, Miles talks about being a skeptic at the beginning. Yeah. When we were doing a clinic in Utah recently, there was a wonderful mom and son that came. The reason why I picked Linda and Miles is because I love mother-son love, or mother-kid love. When I asked this question about who do you love, I saw in the chat so many people. I just read all those and I felt the love. I love my mom so much. I don't know if she's watching this right now, but I'm so happy for the power of having mothers on this planet that love us so much. And there was a mother that came to the clinic in Utah who brought her son, actually picked him up from the hospital in Seattle, drove him. He was supposed to have back surgery and so many things were supposed to happen, drove into the place where I was having my clinic. He actually saw my book on the table in her home before they were coming to the event where I was going to speak. And then he had his pulse taken. When he saw the book on the table, he actually picked it up. He looked at it kind of curious. And then he turned to his mom and he said, "This looks like a bunch of quackery." He was like, "Why are you reading this?" And she's like, "Well, this is actually one of the people that you're going to meet today." And he's like, "Well, I probably shouldn't have said that out loud then, huh?" And now, Nick is one of my, I'd say a dear, dear friend. He actually has lost more than 40 pounds. He was supposed to go for back surgery, went back to the surgeon, says, "I don't know what to say, but it doesn't look like you need surgery anymore. Come again in 3 months, but you can cancel the appointment." He had a limp for 3 years, but now has full mobility of all his joints, no pain in his whole body. Before it was 10 out of 10 for 5 years. Now it's a process. It's not a quick fix, but one of the starting points is pulse. So Jayna, what was your question again? Something about how it started.
I was going to say, there are so many people on this, well, a few people on this call, if not so many people on this call, that don't even know what you were talking about. What is this? How is this? How is this possible that these people are doing this?
Okay, so we'll take you, for those who are in the 100-day course or who have heard this story before, I want you to listen because there's many secrets in this story. Listen to what occurs to you new in this. But for me, it started when, I actually call this a love story because it's not love like a romantic love story, but love for my father that pushed me beyond what I thought was logical or possible into the world where I see these mystical kind of miracles happen all the time. Because I learned what this ancient science was, but I wasn't a very willing learner at the beginning. I was very skeptical. And then my dad called me in the office one day, and actually I'll just show a picture of my dad and my mom, just honor them since I just feel them so close. This is a picture of my mom and my dad. And my mom and my dad had 8 kids. I'm one of 8. I'm number 6 of 8. I actually say that I'm the favorite. But I think all my brothers and sisters say that same thing. Sometimes life throws you curveballs, and you're on a certain track, and then just things change so drastically. And for me, it was the phone call I got from my dad where he said, "Hey, Clint, we need to meet in my office." I says, "Okay, but can we just talk now? I'm your kid. We can talk." And he's like, "No, this is important. Meet me in my office." So I knew something was off. And I just remember going to his office, and even when he opened the doors, I could just feel like something was wrong, And I sat in the chair in the front of the desk. He sat in the chair to the side of his desk. He looked at the ground for what seemed like a long time. And my mind was racing. What could he be? What could be happening? Even part of me wondered if I did something wrong. He was having to tell me about something I did wrong. Finally, when he looked up, he just says, "Clint, I haven't told your mother and I haven't told your brothers or sisters, but I don't even know if I'm going to live through this week. And I just want someone to know where the loose ends are so your mother doesn't have to worry about it if I'm not here to see the morning." So I don't know if any of you have had to have a conversation like this with anyone you love, but it's really difficult. My mind was racing. I had just come from university, but I couldn't think about anything else. Like I thought, only thing I could think of was, I thought I would have my dad when I got married, when I had kids, that he'd read to my kids, I thought I'd have all the time in the world to ask him all kinds of questions. And then all of a sudden at that moment, I thought, maybe I only have a day or 2 days with him. So I said, "What's happening?" He said, "Clint, I'm in so much pain at night. Feels like someone slammed my body against the wall. I hurt so bad. I don't even know if I want to live to see the morning." So this is my dad, who's always been optimistic, always found some positive spin to put on everything. And for the first time, I hear him talking about maybe he doesn't want to live, And then I remember asking him, just trying to get more details. And I said, "Well, what's happening?" He says, "I'm visiting with 4 very highly qualified doctors, and they have me on 12 medications for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. I have a CPAP machine, sleeping pills, 2 different pills for arthritis, a GI cocktail I drink that helps with my digestion. I have random pains in my body." I mean, he just listed off one thing after another. He said, "The doctors, they just 2 this month said they don't know what else to do for me." And so they just says, they just kind of gave up. And he says, "I don't know what else to do. but if I don't live to see the morning, I don't want your mother to have to worry about all the loose ends. So please just pay attention to these passwords. So I'm trying to listen. I was trying to listen to him about what passwords were which ones, and taking notes, and just think, I couldn't digest it. You know, it was such an emotional shock that this might be one of the last evenings with my father, you know, and then my brothers and sisters didn't know. I don't know, just so many things were rushing through my mind. And so I had met previously this master healer that I showed you the pictures of, Dr. Naram, but I mean, when I heard pulse healing before, it sounded like palm reading, okay? And as a scientist, as a university researcher, as someone who grew up in a very Christian, Midwest, you know, Republican, I don't know, just whatever. I didn't have, when someone said pulse reading, I was like, that sounds ridiculous. You know, how can someone know just from touching a pulse what's happening in your body, mind, emotions? It doesn't make sense. Like, if there's going to be a solution, it's in our Western universities and research institutions where there's millions and millions of dollars going in, and some of the brightest minds on earth. They're going to find solutions, and it's going to be through testing. You know, we test things, not through just touching someone's wrist and then just talking about. So I was very, very skeptical. But when this happened for my dad, all I knew was this healer could solve problems that I had never heard of Western medicine solving. You know, I knew because I had met some of them. They told me the story, and I had kind of discounted it as placebo effect, right? But when this happened for my dad and he had no other solution and he tried everything, I hesitantly said, Dad, I've met this master healer, and I've seen him do amazing things, and I want him to take you to him. And he says, well, what is it? And I said, well, he just takes his fingers and he puts it on your wrist, and based on your pulse, he can tell you what's happening in your body, mind, and emotions. Now, at this point, my dad did not look interested, excited. In fact, he looked a little worried about what I was getting into, you know? So he's like, Clint, no, please. I've already tried acupressure, reflexology, homeopathy, and he listed off all this stuff. And he says, the end result is I'm in so much pain, and I just want to have all the loose ends. So again, I just listened, but then I just wasn't satisfied. So I said, Dad, I don't care, but for Father's Day, I'm going to fly you to meet this master healer. At that point, he just broke a smile and he says, at least it can't hurt. So for those who have seen the TEDx talk or read the book, you'll know that this was an experience where I took my dad to meet this master healer. Actually, here's a picture where you can see Dr. Naram with his master taking his pulse. Actually, his master, Baba Ramdas, was testing him on it back 36 years ago, you know. And this was what happened for my dad. There was a long waiting room in LA. We waited for something like 2-3 hours. Finally, they called my dad. We saw people going in and out in 5-10 minutes. And actually, after we saw this happening for an hour and a half, my dad turned to me and he says, Clint, why are we here? He's like, he held out his list of medications. He says, I can't even read my medications in the amount of time people are going in and coming out. So as if I wasn't already nervous enough that maybe I'm spending one of my dad's last days on life, you know, chasing this ridiculous thing. Then I got more nervous, more pressure. Finally, they called my dad's name. I saw him walk in the room. The door was closed, and it was 6 of the longest minutes of my life. You know, he walked in hunched over. I could see the doubt in his face, you know, the pain in his body. And then I'm waiting outside the door, you know, just like with a prayer in my heart, like, God, please help us. You know, I don't want to lose my dad. And when he opened the door and he walked out, I could see something had shifted in him. You know, he was walking a little straighter and he had a different look in his eyes. And I said, Dad, what happened? He says, I can't even really explain it. He says, he just touched my wrist. And then he started telling me my problems. He says, even my 4 doctors, even if they got together in the same room, they couldn't have described as accurately what I was feeling. And they never get together to talk about my case anyway. But even if they were, I don't think they could have described as accurately. He says, and he told me he has a solution. I want to try it. And so over the next 6 months, you know, in the book, it talks about the 6 secret keys, these 6 instruments of Siddha Veda, this lineage that's preserved on the earth, these 6 secret keys. My dad started doing it. And one of them is like Linda was talking about, her diet. Started changing certain foods and doing certain things. Another one is taking certain herbal supplements, these herbs that are mixed in a certain way with an alchemical power that it nourishes and nurtures you and helps you. And then another one was something called Marma Shakti. I'd never heard that word before, but it's really powerful. And if you haven't heard of it, it'll be a good thing to discover. 6 months later, my dad, so fast forward 6 months, my dad called me to his office saying he has another big problem. So then I'm nervous. We're sitting in the same chairs and I'm wondering what's happening. Finally, he pulls out this box from behind his desk. A big smile breaks over his face. He says, I don't know what to do with all these medications anymore because I don't need them. He'd gone from 12 to 1. No more blood pressure, no more cholesterol, no more diabetes, no more CPAP machine, no more sleeping pills. He didn't need any of that stuff anymore. And so then I thought, wow, more people need to know this exists. They may not choose this, but they should know it's a choice. And that's what put me on this whole path for the last 10 plus years, traveling with Dr. Ram in hundreds of cities and dozens of countries, documenting thousands and thousands of cases like my dad. My original intention was just to document it so people knew it was real. I had no idea I was going to learn it. That first meeting when Dr. Ram took his pulse, I didn't know how he knew that stuff. But over the last 10 years in traveling with him and studying and teaching these German doctors, I learned it's based on a science. It's so predictable. When you feel someone's pulse in this way, you can actually feel what's out of balance. It's based on concepts that aren't common in Western culture, but based on the concepts that these ancient masters knew. And when you feel what's out of balance, when you know what that is, you can predict what's happening in that person's body, mind, and emotions to like a crazy way. And I can share story after story, and people on this call can share so many stories too. But in essence, that's how I came to know about pulse healing. And then when I started, it's another identity shift. First of all, to know it exists is awesome. To know someone exists on the planet that can do it is awesome. To see his students doing it is awesome. And the first time that you learn how to do it and you can take someone's pulse and you know what's happening for them, it's a crazy experience. It's so powerful and so beautiful. And so when I see people on this call that have already taken the pulse of some that are coming, I see Beth French, who lots of you heard on Sunday's Miracle Call. She's coming to Alabama. Some people coming to Atlanta. I see some people didn't get in. Like, I'm here with Monica right now. I'm just gonna startle her a little bit. I'm just sitting with Monica. I'll just share her. I'm in her home right now. We have a pulse clinic here in Miami. She's helped organize the pulse clinic in Miami with Dr. Steven. We have one in New York. We're doing one in New Jersey. And Monica, we just barely announced the ones in New York and New Jersey. And how long before they sold out?
It was immediate, like not even 5 minutes. I was getting emails like, no, there's no appointments available anymore. So
yeah, they're going so fast. They just disappear so fast. So if you have an appointment, awesome. I'm so excited to meet with you. And in that space, we'll have such a powerful experience. I'm so sorry if you don't have an appointment yet, but we can create a way in which you can still get the benefits. There's lots of very highly trained doctors in India. You can have a video consultation with them. I know there's probably like over, 80, 90 people on the waiting list in New York that didn't get appointments. So you can meet with Dr. Steven. There's so many ways in which we can support you. But the main thing right now in this call is letting you know that this science exists. It's extremely powerful. It can change your life forever. It's based on thousands and thousands of years of research, I would say, by masters that didn't just do one double-blind study with 90 participants that shows some significant result. No, they researched for thousands of years what happens over a long time period. So it's not a quick fix, but it's about deeper healing. In fact, these manuscripts where a lot of these secrets come from, I'll show you, they had a rule in the lineage that says, you couldn't actually write in these manuscripts until you'd either seen 500,000 people or you lived to be 100 years old. They said, then you probably know something worth sharing. So you can imagine the thousands of years of this wisdom and experience that's just helped people now still exists on the planet. And I'm so grateful it does. I'm looking at the time and we just have such a short time left, and I just wasn't expecting it to go so fast, but I hope you gain something from this conversation, something about possibility. You know, there's a quote that Dr. Ahmed shared, that there's no problem that exists on this planet without there being a solution for it. In fact, he actually said over and over again to me, his master taught him, whatever is your obstacle, your challenge, your heartache, your pain has within it seeds of equal or greater benefit. So it's often the pain that is your teacher that brings you to see where your lifestyle, your thoughts, it's not just the food you feed your body, but the thoughts you feed your mind, where it's out of alignment. And so even from just reading the book, answering the questions at the end, there's all packed full of home remedies. You could totally change your life. So cool. So Jayna, man, I only let you ask one question and then I talked for like so long.
Oh, Dr. Clint, we just love you. We love your enthusiasm. And thank you so much for sharing your story with those people on the call that have not ever seen you before, because it's such a powerful story. It is such a powerful book. This right here can change your life. I love the fact that you said, you know, you understand the value of these pulse appointments. You know, they do go fast. They are powerful. I've had my pulse read, and I'll tell you what, it was the most incredible thing ever. It's amazing to be able to feel that somebody can actually see everything physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. I felt completely seen, completely heard, and completely understood, which is a very, very rare thing to happen in this life. And I'm so deeply, deeply grateful for Dr. Clint, because what him coming into my life, or me coming into his life, I don't know which, has totally changed my life. I love the fact that you said that you don't have to come to the Pulse Clinic. Applying these principles in this book will absolutely make a huge difference. And as you apply the principles in the book, you get to a certain point where it's like, you know, I think I would like to have my pulse read just for that next step. Or maybe you want to jump in with both feet, you know, and do it that way as well. It's just been very interesting as I have been meeting with different people, sharing this book with people, and they just simply like you were talking about with your dad. It might have been, what was it that you always say? It's like the hocus pocus, or I don't know what you called it, but just ridiculousness. And in reality, it's not. It's an incredible science that can actually change your life. But these people that we share this with, they don't even know, and they look at you like, what are you talking about? And so I'm so grateful that you shared this with us tonight, so that they could see the power that exists and the reason why you brought this to the world, and so that we as a community can be able to help spread this. So grateful for you.
Yeah, it's so fun. You know, I even see on this call people from all over the world. Also at the clinic in Joshua Tree, I see Lee Lewis is on this call from Hawaii. And Lee, it's so good to see you. There's someone that came to Joshua Tree that acknowledged, I mean, it's like, I just trust that if you're here on this call, it's definitely for a reason, you know? And there was someone who came to it was like an Airbnb in Hawaii, or some house that was rented. Her name is Jennifer, and she met a beautiful woman there, and then also met Lee. And she flew all the way, or traveled all the way to the clinic in Joshua Tree. Her name is Jennifer, just to have her pulse taken, to find out what's happening, you know, how to remove these blocks. And I just think you never know whose life you're going to change just by educating yourself to know this exists. You know, the people on this call, you never know, someone you love may be in some pain, and you'll be able to help them just because you have empowered yourself to be on this call today. Know this science exists. I just share one other story real quick. This is just real briefly. She was also on the call. And last Sunday, we have these Sunday miracle calls, Sunday inspiration calls. On last Sunday, Beth, I had shared her story, and then also Sarah from Austin, Texas, shared her story about bringing Atlas, this powerful 5-year-old vibrant boy, you know, and just from taking his pulse, I could tell him all kinds of stuff that was happening, and he just also felt so understood. He had so much energy that he'd be bouncing off the walls, even slapping his mom on the face, saying, let's go, like so much energy. And she says in the last month since his pulse consultation, he's like a completely different boy in terms of his capacity to be present, to listen, to have instructions, just be happy and cheerful, and it makes me so happy. I want to say in total honesty, when I think of Dr. Naram and how much effort and time he put into mastering this science for 36 years, I can't say that I'm anywhere near the level of mastery that he is. He's so good. He was so good, and he had such a power. What I have noticed is even from as much as I've learned, lives are changing like crazy at the clinics. And I can only feel so much joy and gratitude in it. And I just show up with my 100% love. And it's about the result that comes to you. The first question or one of the questions in the consultation is always, what do you want? What do you want? And by getting clear on that, a lot of the healing automatically happens. When I asked Atlas, this 5-year-old boy, what do you want? He says, I want to be the greatest guy in the world. It's so cool. And there's no judgment in whatever it is that you want. I hear some of the most beautiful, powerful things. I hear all kinds of stuff, Some stuff is a little bit, I'm trying to decide if I should share it, but it's so fun. Anyway, but the main thing is we kind of turn off to what do we want? And in that space, by pressing certain points on the body and asking certain questions, a certain clarity comes. A lot of healing happens from that alone. And the whole system, the whole science behind it, what is the foods, what is the herbs? It's not a quick fix, and it's not a magic trick. It's not like a wand is over your head and then instantly everything in your life is better. You still do the work, but at least from the pulse consultation, you know the path that you can walk. Everyone that comes to see me for a pulse consultation, I also give you a consultation with one of the doctors in India that will explain the diet, the herbs, and help with a lot of the follow-up. And there's so many other support systems in place just to help you achieve what you want. Miles, I loved it on the call. He will be a published author, so that's what he wants. And the ancient science helps with that too, helps remove any kind of a block, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, so you can live the life you are meant to live.
So beautiful. So grateful. And it's so true. It's such an amazing experience. It's just so great. I know that our time is short. I just so appreciate every single person that came tonight. So grateful for you. Is there anything, pardon?
Yeah, because it doesn't feel complete unless maybe we hear a couple people, if you have any questions. I'm just looking at your faces. I just connected with each of you. I see so many powerful people. Dr. Mark Tan on here, Soul and Glow Herbert, Gail and Gwen are on the call, Louise, Dorianne, Ann. I love seeing Rochelle on the call, Michael. I don't know if anyone has any questions, anything in your mind or heart. Maybe we'll answer 2 or 3 questions before we close the call. And and you could put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, just go ahead and unmute yourself. I think it's Ravi. Is it Ravi?
Hi, yes, that's my husband's computer, actually. My name is Sunita. So, I'm not able to get into a pulse clinic. I'm down in Dallas, Texas, and I know Dr. Clint was there a month ago. I wasn't aware, but I just want to know if I reached out to somebody in India, I mean, is that a possibility? Like, from this perspective now, how do we go forward? We've heard the story and it sounds absolutely miraculous. I mean, literally, it was touching me on every level as you spoke, Dr. Clint. It's remarkable. So I just want to know, if I'm trying to help myself or help a member of my family, what do I do in the absence of that? Of course, the book is a start, but then if you want to talk to someone, how does that work?
Sunita, I say? Is it Sunita?
Yes, Sunita, yes.
Sunita, what a beautiful name. I'm so sorry I missed seeing you in Dallas. I can't wait to hopefully meet you on the next time I'm there.
Yes.
Yeah, so your question is what to do next?
Yeah.
Jayna, do you have the link for where people can book the very powerful video consultation with one of the doctors in India? Oh, she posted already. Yeah. So in the chat, you can see the link. You click on that link, you have like a half hour. It's like so cheap. It's like $15, and they really seek to understand you. They can, even from seeing your face, from asking you certain questions, understand what are the ancient secrets which you can apply right away in your life? Some diet secrets, home remedies, certain herbal formulas. And so Sunita, I highly encourage you, click on that link and start there. And then you start the process. Then next time I come or another trained pulse practitioner comes, then you can have your pulse taken. In the meantime, you get started.
Okay. But there's nobody in Dallas practicing at the moment, as far as, or in the vicinity.
There isn't anyone that I know of that's there right now. Although we have a lot of people in the course that are learning a 100-day training course, but it'll take some time until they're ready.
Yeah, sure.
It's like
Thank
learning
you.
a different language, and so it's a process. But people from the video call have very, very, very great results.
Okay.
Great results.
Okay.
And
Great.
she can get the book, Dr. Clinton. Does she have the book?
Yeah, my sister has the book and I'm going to order it. So yes,
Oh,
that's
good.
how I started all of this. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I'll say is when you get the book from myancientsecrets.com, it automatically donates money to the orphanage in Nepal as well.
Okay, yeah, so I'll do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Usually people, I just got another call the other day from someone saying, how can I buy 30 books? I want to give them to all my friends. But the tricky thing is if you only have one book, you have to be careful because sometimes people steal it from you. So you have to be a little bit careful.
Right.
They do. My sister stole my daughter's. I had to get my daughter another copy. So true.
Dr. Clint, I just want to say my health challenge when getting in the course is diabetes and cholesterol, just cholesterol. And I consulted the doctors and I'm seeing improvement already. So I'm hoping to be able to get off of my medication completely. And I also want to say the mung bean soup. Just when the first 2 days I just started eating the soup, I just felt different. I felt so much better and my digestive system was so much better. So just from eating the mung bean soup, some people have gotten rid of their health issues just from the soup.
Well, you know what? I feel like just from listening to your voice, I feel happier and better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love it. She's talking about in the book, there's a recipe for this soup. In fact, as soon as I landed, Monica had a bowl of mung soup and I tasted it. I'm like, this is so delicious. It's like health can be delicious. That's so cool, and it can be so simple. It's not complicated. So she's talking about a certain recipe for a certain soup that helps detoxify your body, help take pain out of your body, inflammation out of your body. And it's one of the many secrets in the book that's so powerful. Clinton Jones, Dr. Clinton Jones, how was your experience today? And any takeaway from today's call or any questions you have?
I'm just ready to start learning.
Oh, cool.
Right now.
All right. Well, I'm so happy for that. You're based in LA?
Yes.
All right, good.
Los Angeles. I'm in the San Fernando Valley.
So even from the book, it even has a certain diagram. It shows the basics of what are the different pulse points. But then we'll have additional training stuff. So let's keep in close touch, Dr. Clinton.
I'd like to do that. Thank you.
We need more Dr. Clints in the world because it's just a good idea. So glad you're here. All right, I see Michael, you've unmuted yourself. You have a question? No? Okay. Anyone else, you can just unmute yourself. Anyone has any question or any particular inspiring experience you want to share? Oh, Linda and Miles, please.
I don't know. I just think it would be so cool. I couldn't figure out how to feel my own pulse, and I tried other people's. I couldn't do it. But you so simply explained it to me. I immediately felt your pulse. That bone that you have to go below. I think if you showed people that, it might help them or inspire them to learn that.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, Linda. Thank you so much. Linda, why don't you just travel with me everywhere? You and Miles can just travel with me everywhere. I like that idea. All right, so there's a certain way of feeling the pulse, and this call isn't particularly for that, but the cool thing is when she was with me, I could just show her and put her fingers in such a way, all of a sudden you get an aha. Yes. So it's really a beautiful specific thing. And I'm glad that you brought that up, Linda. All right, I see Dr. Mark Tan, you unmuted yourself.
Hello there. It's good morning here in UK. I've got your book as well. Great stuff. great
Wait,
stuff.
can
Thank
you
you.
can you show that one more time? The video wasn't on for that part. Oh, I love seeing that. So cool. I could take that picture and I could sell it to a lot of women. It's a very handsome picture.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you. For my heart and soul, and for all humanities and all souls in this universe, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Naram, to Rogers, and all of your team for helping all humanities what they're missing out as well. I've been a medical doctor for the last 13 years and also a nutritionist for the last 6 years, naturopath, and also acupuncturist. I try to learn many in terms of secrets in life to improve our life, longevity, immunity, and stamina. Ancient ways is the best way, and to go back to nature, what you guys have been doing out there as well is amazing. Further to that, I also, as I said, learn from different masters, learning in terms of the spiritual side, the Taoist side, spiritual healing. The things in this book is amazing, and I truly beg others to follow the nature's way, and that would prevent further complications in the future in your system and body as well.
Yeah.
Healing the body, mind, and soul is amazing, and to balance the heart, soul, and body is truly the best thing to do. For the last 40, in my mid 40s, there are secrets in life how to improve and stay young, strong, healthy, and in terms of freedom from the heart, soul, and mind. My purpose, and I believe the purpose of what Dr. Narams and yourself and the other teams are doing, is to help all humanities as a servant. Our purpose of life on this earth is to serve others, to make other people happy and healthy in life, to build our virtues in life. As we came with nothing, we go with nothing. In this lifetime, it's the time to build our virtues, to melt with all humanity and all souls as one, as we all came from the same source. From the bottom of my heart and soul, I thank you for everything you guys have done. Well done, well done, well done. God bless you. Countless bow down.
Dr. Mark. Wow. You're just making us all fall in love with you. It's so beautiful.
God bless you.
You're speaking such powerful words. You know, there's a German researcher that I talk about in the book by the name of Dr. Ludwig Max Fischer. And as you're speaking, I'm reminded of a thing he taught me that is not in the book, but he said in ancient times, in ancient Chinese times, the doctors, you paid them as long as you were healthy. If you got sick, then you stopped paying them. You know, so even the financial incentive, it was about wellness. It's about staying healthy. It's not about, okay, let's find out. It's not a culture of sickness, you know, or of disease. So I was like, wow, it's a very powerful thing when you have an ancient science, these ancient sciences, these Eastern sciences that are based on how do you keep someone from getting sick in the first place? Now, it takes a lot of wisdom to follow it before you need it. You know, most of us wait until we're desperate and then we find out. But Dr. Mark Tan, I'm just so glad that you are here, and the words you spoke so much touched my heart, and your presence. And I'm so grateful for you following your passion to help humanity and bless us on this call by your presence. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for what you guys done. Countless bow down.
So powerful. I see, Lee, you unmuted yourself. You have something you want to share?
I do. First of all, I just want to thank you for the great book and the great recipe of the mung bean soup. I've been making it every day. I have it every day for the last 3 months. In fact, I have subscribers now who buy it a month at a time, so I deliver it a week at a time. And I'm thinking about making it my business, one of my businesses. And I call it mung bean soup for the soul. And it is just Just an incredible meal to eat.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. You know, one of the people that endorsed the book is Jack Canfield. And when he was
Yeah, I
in
know.
India, we talked about mung bean soup for this. So it's so funny. Well, I want to say, Lee, you keep being awesome. I'm so happy to see you. And when we were in LA, where Linda and Miles came, there was a man who made the mung soup for us there. And he said, everyone comes, they taste it and they want more. In fact, even just Monica talked about someone in her house the other day, tasted the soup, went home. He came back the next day. He's like, I'm craving mung soup. You know, I'm longing. What was the word he used?
No, I think it was craving.
Craving. He's like, yeah.
Craving the soup.
And there's nothing more delicious than health. And when health can be simple, wow, why not? In the chat, I just want everyone who's been on this call to share one thing that you've gained as a result of being here today. One insight that you'll take with you. One thing that you feel like has impacted you. I just would love to hear. And I see Angela says that was another powerful session. I'm needing to get the mung bean soup recipe. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Clint, in Atlanta. Safe travels. So the recipe is in the book. Also, if you want to, we can give it to you on the website. Chris Hill says, I felt so much love. Savan says, impact of love and understanding. Yeah, and appreciation. You know, one time I asked Dr. Ram, how come people are flying in from all over the world? Just, you can see them for 5 minutes only. It doesn't make any sense. They pay for this expensive plane ticket, their hotel, they're not at work, so they're losing money. They're paying for everything, and just for 5 minutes with you. And he says, you know, Dr. Clint, in the last 6,000 years of human history, the greatest need people have isn't actually love, but it's understanding. And what this pulse healing does is it helps give you an insight to help understand someone in a way that maybe they don't even understand themselves, and have solutions through which they can solve, remove the blocks, physical, mental, emotional blocks, rebalance the system so it operates optimally and they can live. It's not just about overcoming disease, but with your life, what do you do when you have life? Jane says, her takeaway is wanting to share this even more with others, giving hope. Sunita, with her husband's name of Ravi on there, says, Dr. Clint, your story is so moving. I found myself holding back tears. The love was flowing. JC Ramesh is on the call. He says, having my mung soup dinner, just prepared it. That's awesome. Sarabjit says, love heals. I think that's so true. Ultimately, it's
right
love. Here. Oh, you got it, JC.
Enjoying it. Just prepare it. Take a look.
You know, I want to say to Sunita, when I was in Dallas, JC Ramesh made mung soup for us, and at the end of the clinic in Dallas, I got to eat his delicious soup.
There you go. My mung soup.
So good. You know, JC Ramesh also is an example of love. You know, he was neighbors and spoke on some panels and had events where Mother Teresa and him joined forces. Just is such an example of love. He's in the 100-day course and all the time reminds me of what this is all about. I love seeing you, JC Ramesh.
Love seeing you, my friend. You really are inspiration, truly.
Yeah.
I got tempted to eat something else. You know, I said, no, got back to mung soup. Thanks for this call. I'm back to mung soup.
You know, at the end of the clinic, we did a Facebook Live with JC, and he said he's had his own remarkable results. But he said at the end of the call, he's like, just join the Sunday Miracle Call. It's like an ocean of love you can immerse yourself in.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we love others more than we love ourselves. We'll make changes. Like in this case, I loved my dad more than I loved myself. You know, I would do things for him I wouldn't do for myself. But this book, it's a love story also because you fall more in love with yourself. And on the Sunday calls, you fall more in love with yourself. And then you start to think, wait a minute, if I love myself, I'm going to treat my body, mind, and soul better. So you start to eat differently, think differently, associate in a different way. And one of the greatest joys of my life is all the people in the course, all the miracle mentors, like Monica here is such a great example. Jayna, Carol, Esther, Kitty, everyone, like the way we love each other is off the charts. Like people just going out of their way to serve with so much love that sometimes I just get caught off guard. Like even after the call on Monday, the volunteers just working with so much love and excellence to translate the book into so many languages. I had to take a couple breaths after the call and just like calm my emotion because I just saw such a passion, not only of loving for those in their immediate family, but love for those they'll never meet. You know, Ilaria and Marzi and all those that translate in Italian, they'll never meet all the people who are their lives are going to benefit. Or Angelica, Profulta, Luisa, who helped translate into Portuguese. How many lives are going to change? How many millions of people only speak Portuguese and now they have access to the secrets? Alex, I see you have a question. Oh, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hey, so good to see you, Alex.
Hi, I'm Marietta. I'm just using my son's name on his account.
Okay, Marietta, good.
Marietta from London in the UK. I was just wondering, when was you going to come to London?
Yeah, really great
Is there a
question.
pulse clinic in London?
Yep, I have a big love of London. I have a big love of England. And as soon as COVID dies down, both me and Dr. Giovanni are going to be coming to London, Holland, certain parts of Germany, Italy. We'll be coming a different tour of Europe. And so if you can email, I'll put email Monica. Oh, she's putting it in there. Email Monica at myancientsecrets.com. Get on the waiting list. If you can help coordinate some logistics, then we'd love to have you be a part of that. In the meantime, in London, there is some practitioners. And Dr. Mirasoni is a very awesome practitioner, Dr. Sarita Nehar. And so we can give you their contact information as well. They're very, very good. Trained by Dr. Ram longer than me. They're very good.
That's fabulous. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, take care.
You too.
Esther, you had a question?
Well, I don't really have a question. I have a request. And for everybody that's read the book or has participated in the Sunday Miracle Calls, our dear Rabbi Steve is having surgery tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there's so much love among us right now that I would truly appreciate love and prayers being sent to him for a successful surgery. And even more important, love and prayers to the doctors that are performing the surgery and all the assistants in that surgical suite. I know it means a lot to him. Prayers to Eva as she sits and waits for the outcome. And that's it. It's resting on my heart. And we are an audience here that can send out so much.
Yeah, so for those who haven't read the book yet, Rabbi Stephen Robbins is featured in the book and has an amazing story. He's had 9 near-death experiences. I got 3 calls from him this week, and I'm so glad you brought that into space, Esther. Just, I believe intention matters. Some people call it prayer. Some people call it meditation. Even scientifically, they're showing how much of a difference it can make. And Rabbi Stephen Robbins, he shows up on this planet as a servant, a servant of humanity and a servant of love. And so if we can send him love at this moment in time, both to him and his dear wife, both are rabbis and both powerful in their own right, have inspired us in so many ways, that would make such a difference, So, and I just say in this moment, I just feel like right after Dr. Ram passed away just over a year ago, Rabbi Robbins was one of the first people that called me, and he talked about this dream he had where Dr. Ram appeared in the dream and they were dancing together, and they were celebrating. And it was right after that he found out Dr. Ram passed away. And then he started sharing so many mystical, beautiful insights about what really is important, and about life and death and the illusion of each. And really what matters is love. And so in this moment, just such an honor to share that with you, Dr. Rabbi Robbins and Eva and Stephen and Eva. And so thank you everyone for joining with us in this moment of love for them. Beautiful. Well,
yes, thank you.
I'm just reading everyone else's takeaways and they're so beautiful. These are the kind of things that I'll treasure. Jayna, anything you want to say as we conclude this call?
No, I'm just so grateful for the stories. I'm so grateful that you all came. Thank you so much, Dr. Clint. So appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jayna. I want to say in just a little bit that my birthday was last week, and I had an insight as I was hiking that I'm not growing this work. We're not growing this work, but it's growing us, like the amount of transformation that happens when you engage on any level. And it's the kind of path where you can go, 100 miles or 10 steps and you'll benefit to that degree. You know, you go 10 steps, you're going to benefit. You go 100 steps, you're going to benefit. You go 1 mile, you're going to benefit. And what I see in Jayna, I see in myself, I see in Carol, I see in all of us, we're just showing up with love, you know, and curiosity and a willingness to see something awesome, you know, our lives and in the lives of those we love. And so if you're coming for a pulse consultation, yeah, just come with that and then see what happens, you know, and that's great.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, I so agree with you. We're just showing up with love. And I love the fact that you have the experiment game, because everything that I do in this work is with love, and it's an experiment. Sometimes I do things and yes, sometimes it works. Most of the time it does work because it's full of love. And I'm just so grateful. And it is growing me. I have grown so much in this year that I just was looking for some remedies for my gallbladder. And I found Dr. Naram. I actually found Dr. Clint's TED Talk. And I started looking for ways to be able to, you know, I thought maybe they had something that, you know, published, I could buy a book or whatever. But then I found that he was launching this book. And I got involved with the community. I just had something inside of me that said, you need to go and do this. And I couldn't get my application filled in fast enough. And when I came on board, we didn't even have the book. You know, here we are talking about Pulse Clinic, but we didn't even have the book. And so much healing came on. I mean, we were just healing. So there are so, like you said, I tell people that this community, this book is like a video game. You know, you start out and there's so many different levels, and each level has their little gems of gold, or their hidden caves, or it's so amazing how many levels it goes. And when we didn't have the book, we had healing. When we had the book, we had more healing. When we got the Pulse Clinic, we did have more healing. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And I'm so deeply grateful. I'm just so excited to share this with so many people. I just wanted this space to be able to open it up for that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and I love also that it's not required, like cost is never an issue. You know, you start with what you have. You can come for the Sunday miracle calls for free, change your diet. It's awesome. Do home remedies. You start with what you have. If you can afford the book, the printed book where you can write in the answers to the questions, the home remedies, it's $16.97. If you don't have that, you can pay $4.97, get it on Kindle. If you don't have that, you can just gain so much from watching all the past calls and the YouTube videos. There's a doctor in Romania. Just from watching the YouTube videos, he's been healing so many cases, you know, just because there's so many secrets accessible. Then if you have an opportunity to come to a Pulse Clinic and you come, awesome. I can't wait to meet you. If you have a chance to experience Marma, Shakti, or any of that other stuff, then awesome. If you have a chance to learn deeper by joining the 100-day course or the 3-year certification program, so cool. So you're so welcome. I love you so much. I'm with you. And just, yeah, thank you for being here today, for sharing. I'm just reading all your takeaways. So cool. And I just hope you have such a beautiful night or day or wherever you are, and that together we can just help make this world a healthier, happier place by just knowing natural solutions exist. They're credible, they're real, they work. You can test them, you can see the results. It's not a quick fix, but it heals you deeper and deeper.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we have this tradition that we unmute ourselves and we say, I love you and I'm with you. So I'd love to continue that tradition right now tonight. So if you'd unmute yourself and say, I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm
love
with
you
you.
and I'm with you.
Love
Love you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you. And I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you. I'm with you. Love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Love you.
Love it.
Michael.
Love you. Take
Hi, Dr.
care.
Babs.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, that's so fun. So fun. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you, Dr. Clint. I love you and I'm with you. We'll see you later.